Hello, welcome to episode 10 of Broken Hangry, where flavor never has to break the bank. Today we're going to be talking about meal prepping and kind of deciding whether meal prepping will work for you or not. And yeah, this is for my college students who do not have a meal plan and are kind of like living off campus in their own residences, or if the meal plan that they do have doesn't suffice enough for their eating needs. So this is definitely going to be a video for you all. I'm first going to start off talking about what food typically would fit for a meal plan. What foods are you going to see more often when you're meal prepping? These are going to be kind of like typical foods that from week to week you might find in a meal plan, or ones that are a little bit cheaper, which tend to be in your meal prepping plans. Then I'm going to go into containers. So what type of containers are most suitable for meal prepping? Where can you find these containers? And then I'm also going to look on like Amazon and see what containers are the cheapest, which ones are the best for the current time right now. And then I'm going to have making a plan. So how are you going to establish a plan? What will that look like? How often are you going to plan your meals out or your meal prepping plans? And then when is the best time for you to plan a meal prep? I'm also going to be consulting the Budget Bites article on Meal Prep 101. So as far as meal prepping goes, a lot of foods that tend to be meal prepped are chicken dishes, fish sometimes that tends to be meal prepped a lot. We're going to see rice for sure, beans, different like canned vegetables, pretty like relatively cheap foods are what you're going to see that are going to be meal prepped. Vegetables on the whole though, just because they're pretty good for you, and a lot of people that meal prep tend to want to lose weight and control what type of portions they're eating, or they're going to want to work on establishing a budget when it comes to their food, which means that they'll probably be eating the same food over and over just because it is a little bit cheaper that way and it's better able for them to control what they're going to be eating. So if you're someone that likes chicken, rice, you like vegetables that are pretty cheap and inexpensive, things like that, meal prepping is probably going to be for you, just because those are the foods that are a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper and are going to be more efficient towards you saving money and being able to prepare big dishes over a week period of time. So those are going to be more foods that you're going to be seeing. Meal prepping is not limited to just these foods, but these are more of the ones that you can prepare them a week ahead and they will also last the next few days. They're not going to go bad and you have to kind of eat it right away like a salad would. Like meal prepping a salad is a little bit tricky just because, the lettuce can get a little bit soggy and you have to separate the lettuce from the dressing just so that your meal doesn't get soggy and it's not like unenjoyable. So as far as meal prepping goes, it's going to be foods that you're either going to have to cook or vegetables that have a longer shelf life or fridge life, I guess, than some fruits. So that's definitely one thing with meal prepping. It's also going to be like, rice is definitely a huge factor, especially for a college student who can't really afford, to pay for a lot of these really inexpensive foods when it comes to meal prepping, like having steak for a whole week. That's really expensive, but having a grain that's pretty cheap and can sustain you for a long period of time, like rice, that's something that's probably going to be a lot easier for a college student to meal prep. So that's definitely something that you're going to have to like or be able to incorporate into the meals that you're going to cook. So if that's something that you find enjoyable, you are in the right market. As far as containers go, you're going to want at least 7. If you're going to be meal prepping like dinners only, let's say you're going to be meal prepping dinners only, you're going to want 7 containers for every single day in the week that you're meal prepping for. If you're doing lunch as well, you're going to want at least 14 containers. And if you're going to be doing a breakfast, as far as meal prepping a breakfast, I don't feel like you need specific containers for it, just because when I get into this just a little bit further down, you're going to understand why. So I'm going to be looking up meal prep containers on Amazon just to see the current retail value for a meal prep container on Amazon, just because it is a website that a lot of college students use, because of the Prime deal that they have for students. There's a lot of different retailers that offer meal prep packages. So I'm seeing here with a Prime membership that some of these can range from $14.99 to around $22.99. And it all just depends on how many that you want. So for 15 pack, which is going to be your lunch and your dinners, to be meal prepped for a week, it's $14.99. If you want a 25 pack, it can be $22.99, or 20 pack can be $29.99. So it all depends on, I guess, how many meals that you want to prep for, how much containers do you want to use. But also, I wouldn't recommend the 15 pack, only because these containers can be kind of fragile, just because they're like your typical like takeout containers, except with compartments. So I would recommend getting like maybe like a 20 pack if you want containers for like lunch and dinners for a week, if that's how you're going to meal prep. But these containers typically come with compartments, like a main entree side, and then 2 compartments for like vegetables and sides. Your main compartment side, I say you should put your meat in, but not fill it up. Like, when it comes to meal prepping, you are going to be eating a protein, of course, but you're not filling your compartment up with that protein. You're going to be filling it up more with that grain and those vegetables, because filling up your compartments with protein is really expensive, and as a college student, you don't have money for that. So when you're meal prepping and you're planning, you just can't, fill everything up with meat, because in turn you'll probably end up spending more money than if you had when you were doing what you were doing before meal prepping. The last part of meal prepping is making a plan. So you understand what foods you want to use, you understand or purchase your containers. Now you need to come up with a plan to meal prep. When you're meal prepping, you typically do so for the week. Most people don't meal prep over a 2-week period, just because your taste buds are going to want something new for each week, especially if you're going to be eating the same thing every single day. It's not going to want that for 2 weeks. You're going to have to switch it up. So most people meal prep for the week. A lot of people do it on Sundays or Monday or so. For me, it all kind of depends on like your schedule. So let's say Monday's my busiest day. Like, if I'm using my current college schedule right now, Mondays are my busiest day of the week. So I could not meal prep on Sunday, just because I have a lot of homework and assignments that I need to make sure are completed for my Monday classes. So for me, if I were going to meal prep, I would probably have to do so on a Monday, just because, like, even though that is my busiest day of the week, Tuesday tends to be a lot calmer for me, which means that I can stay up later on my Monday nights to make sure that I have everything or all my meals done for the Tuesday. And even though that day is pretty exhausting, I'm going to need to eat for the week, so I'm going to be motivated to do so. If that's not going to work for you, you could probably like do your least busiest day, do all your cooking for that day, and make sure that all your assignments or what you have to do the next day, if it's a little bit busier, are done. Just basically a lot for a time. If you're going to be meal prepping lunch and dinners, make sure that you have those meals planned out and your budget for those meals, and make sure that you have enough containers sorted out for those meals, where you're going to store them, because after you've made all these food, put them in containers, you got to make sure that you can be able to store them. So it would not be suitable for me to meal prep on my college campus, just because I only have a mini fridge, and that mini fridge definitely does not have enough room for meal preps. Also, it wouldn't make sense just because I am paying for a meal plan. But if you're off campus and you have a bigger size fridge, you don't have a meal plan, meal prepping might be more suitable for you. Yeah, in terms of making a plan, you can write out different ideas for meals that you have for the month, and then each week you choose 2 different ideas for your lunch and your dinner, and you can just cross those off so you know that you've already had those for the month. So if you want to try different meals and you just want to make sure that you keep track of ones that you've already done, that way you can be able to cross them off. So that's another thing that you can do. But if you want to do something on budget, definitely check out this article. I kind of went through a few of these things, but this one's a lot more in depth of meal prepping and how to do so, and just kind of getting on the general start of meal prepping and how to navigate that. I hope you enjoyed episode 10 of Broken Hangry. I'm going to be having a special episode coming out next week, and it's going to be regarding a kind of live session, like a live Zoom session, and then I'll upload the recording onto my channel here. So if you would like to be a part of that, fill out this Google form that's going to be in the description below. That way you can be invited to the Zoom link, and that you can watch me live bake something and just answer any questions that you have about this channel. I would love to see some of you all there, and yeah, comment, subscribe, comment down below, and fill out that form to show that you're interested so that we can chat, face to face here. I can meet you all and answer any questions that you have live on real time about anything that we've covered in the previous videos. So I know that we had spooky treats video, so if you want to give feedback, if you made those treats, or just any questions that you have on how to customize those for different seasons, that's something that you can do. Shopping in the city, if you want to gain a little bit more insight on how to shop appropriately in the city, seasoning guide, any tips on how to season anything, cooking with meat, how to shop organically, Friendsgiving. If you want more Friendsgiving ideas of what to bring to Friendsgiving, I can definitely provide that for you all. And just any questions that you have on previous videos, just let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video, and hopefully I will also see you all in the live session. Thank you.